Welcome to News 13 at 11. I'm Mark Liverman. It has been a wet, cold, and icy day across North Carolina. There have been outages and accidents on roadways, and we've been tracking it all with team coverage. In a few minutes, we're going to check in with News 13's Ryan Stockett. But first, meteorologist Karen Wynn has the latest on what the rest of this ice storm is expected to bring overnight and into the morning. And Karen, when will we be fully out of the woods on this winter storm?
Well, as far as any kind of a wintry mix, that's pretty much over with. You can see on radar just very, very light precipitation. It is the cold and the refreezing of that rain and that freezing rain and slick roads that will carry over the threat from what we had today. And right now it's kind of hard to imagine that if you're in one of the western mountain locations that maybe stayed in the 40s much of the day and had mainly rain. But we do have Arctic air on the way, and all of us are going to drop quite a bit over the next several hours. Some folks already below freezing in the foothills and the upstate. This has been the coldest area with that chilly air wedged in. Meanwhile, at the airport, we are sitting just above freezing. We see that moisture now off to the east of us, but look what is coming our way, that bitterly cold air, and it is very frigid. 2 below in Minneapolis, 7 in Chicago, 5 in St. Louis, and this is going to be moving in here shortly. So that's why we have a cold weather advisory. It kicks in at 4 a.m. It will continue until 10 tomorrow morning. For most of us here in the mountains, all the light blue shaded counties, wind chills could go as low as 10 below. 5 below in the valleys. This is a hypothermia risk, certainly not a night where you want to be without power. Many schools have canceled, but for those that are in session, a very cold Tyson Furniture bus stop forecast tomorrow in the 20s pretty much all day long. And then we go into an even colder night tomorrow night with an extreme cold watch Monday evening on until Tuesday at noon, for highest elevations above 3,500 feet in our Tennessee state line counties, all of Avery County, feeling like 20 below in some of those higher elevations. So this is dangerous cold. I'll have much more on how long this is all expected to last.
And power crews continue to work on thousands of outages in the mountains. Here's a look at the Ready NC outage map right now in real time. Really two noteworthy things that we're seeing right now, at least in western North Carolina. Transylvania County, that's still looking at more than 3,500 power outages right now. Earlier, we saw Henderson County close to 14,000 within the last few hours. Also, Buncombe right now looking at just over 500 as well. Of course, we're going to have updated power outage numbers on our website. For the latest, just head to WLOS.com. And those outage numbers have been going up and down all day as blasts of wind and ice have been hitting. We're out in Henderson County monitoring the situation. News 13's Ryan Stockett spoke with neighbors in Mills River to find out how they're holding up. Ryan, I understand that outages are not the only thing neighbors are dealing with right now.
That's right, Mark. One of the neighbors we spoke with said they weren't just concerned that they didn't have power, but they were concerned about being iced in. Now, take a look at this. This sign behind me, it's completely covered in ice. There's an icicle hanging off of it. There's more icicles hanging off the sign behind it. And then I'm stepping on that crunchy popsicle grass that I was showing you guys earlier. And then this side road behind me, it's covered in this slush of ice and snow. The main road it doesn't seem to be icy, just really wet. It's one of the NCDOT priority roads. Now, we not only reached out to neighbors, but we also reached out to the county to find out what they're doing or have been doing to get ahead of this winter storm.
A grader clearing ice from a road in Mills River. But it's not just ice that crews are having to clear from the roads. We also found several trees that had fallen on the road, like this one that had broken a power line on its way down. We reached out to the nearby neighbors to find out how they're holding up.
It's a little rough, but you just have to think positive and know that people are out there doing their best to do whatever they can for you.
We interviewed Heather Lanning as she was cooking food on her front porch, which she had to do because the power was out. And we couldn't even get up the ramp because of how slick it was, so we talked to her from below her porch. We also reached out to Mike Morgan with Henderson County about the impact they're seeing because of this weather event.
Just down the road in Waynesville, it's 48 degrees right now. And here in Hendersonville, it's 30 degrees. They're getting rain, we're getting freezing rain and sleet. So this has been a strange storm.
Morgan tells us that they opened up their emergency operations center on Saturday because of this storm.
Anytime we have a major event, wildfire, hurricane, winter storm, we open up what's called an emergency operations center. And then everything kind of funnels through us as far as doing stuff for the county.
He tells us they haven't had a lot of emergency calls, but he says the biggest effect they've seen from the storm has been the number of power outages.
And we still have a little bit of time to go, and hopefully the numbers kind of stay where they are. We've got 71,000, I think, Duke Energy customers, and we've had about 3,000 roughly that are out of power right now.
Only those numbers didn't stay where they were at. He reached back out to us before 5 p.m., letting us know that the number of outages in Henderson County had gone up to over 11,000. Lanning tells us she's been praying for the crews who are working to fix the power lines.
Hopefully it'll come back on soon.
Since I've been standing here, I haven't seen hardly any cars driving on this road, if any. Oh, there's an NCDOT truck coming this way. Now, we just want to thank everyone who has been heeding the warning to stay off the roads. We'll have a link to the outage map on our website, WLOS.com. Live in Mills River, Ryan Stockett, News 13.
Well, we have several more indoor days rolling on. The snow and the ice and the sleet, that is over with, but the wind and the cold is just beginning tomorrow morning. So you can see how many of us are going to be feeling like we're in the single digits when we begin the work week Monday morning. So a lot of folks here, they just got all rain out in the western counties in the 40s right now. But we go into the early morning hours, that will change. Anything wet on the roads is going to be slick to begin the day. The winds will be whipping and those wind chills are quite low, but not as low as they'll be on Tuesday morning when many of us feel like we're below zero to begin the day, and even the upstate starting off lower than the teens in many locations. And then Wednesday, we are a little better than Tuesday, but still very frigid, with many of us feeling like we are in the single digits. And even though Wednesday is not a weather-worn day, we could be extending our weather-worn days because this bitter cold does not show any signs of letting up. We have another shot coming later the week. But that wintry mix is letting up, and we see a much calmer looking radar around the region with our coldest temperatures, many of them in the southeastern part of our viewing area. We're talking Lake Lure, Tryon, 30 degrees, just 1 degree above freezing in Greenville. Some folks are seeing their temperatures come up slightly and hovering just above freezing at the Asheville airport, and well above freezing, of course, in our far western mountain counties. But we have this little cold front that will be moving through, bringing those big changes with the very gusty wind and the much colder temperatures. And this is a big Arctic air mass that will be moving in and setting up shop through the middle of the week, and then we have another one on the move for later in the week. So here's how it looks on the hour-by-hour futurecast. We roll into midnight, and some places are going to be right around freezing. Asheville, Marion, Hendersonville. Again, this is when it could get treacherous so on the road. So if you don't have to be out on those roads, stay off of them. Even some of the warmer locations going down close to freezing by midnight. And then we head into the early morning hours. Our sky clears somewhat. The winds will be up and temperatures will be down in the teens around many locations. And we stay well below freezing to wrap up Monday. On top of that, our winds become quite brisk. 5 a.m. Notice some of these wind gusts on this model. Over 40 in Hendersonville, 40 in Busick, 37 in Asheville. It's mainly those eastern slopes that are going to be quite windy throughout the day. 5 o'clock in the evening, still very windy, and even though we do see the wind come down, it will be brisk enough for Tuesday morning to feel so very cold. Frostbite, hypothermia, real issues. Tomorrow morning, starting off in the teens around much of the region, upper 20s in the upstate, and then your highs Some of us don't get above freezing, only around 30 in Asheville. So with a bitter cold and that chance for icy roads on Monday and then just bitter cold on Tuesday, we keep our 2 weather-worn days. And it looks like Tuesday morning is going to be the coldest one of the week at 5 degrees. Beyond that, we see more cold, no sign of it letting up. And as we take a look at the upstate, a little bit milder than the mountains, but still very cold and very dry for the week ahead.